Part 5. Okay, so um, this is a Lyon Healy 40 string harp. I believe it is a Petite Natural, is what they told me when I gave them the serial number. It's about 2006 model. And Stanley, this guy that destroyed this harp, was trying to invent a floating soundboard, and he was going to cut a door. He had cut this side of it out and have a door where you could access this big bar here that you tie the strings onto. And he did that so the soundboard doesn't have pulling pressure from the string and crack like I guess some of them do eventually. So he, when he was taking the soundboard off that's glued onto here, I saw on his video on YouTube from 2016 that he had black lines right here in Sharpie, and that's where he started cutting it, and then getting screwdrivers and trying to break the bond of the glue. It takes the wood out. So I have areas like this. Okay, first I filled it with wood putty. Still got some up there I gotta remove. But my plan is with my Dremel is to cut this square with a little blade, cut it square, and get another piece of wood and get it to fit into these square areas and glue it in. So using Type-On glue, it only works with wood to wood contact, not wood to putty. So theoretically, it should strengthen this up really good. And the Type-On, the pulling force of Type-On is 750 pounds of pulling force per every 2 inches. So it's pretty strong stuff. So I just thought I'd take it before I destroy it some more, but that's the only thing I can think of. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and okay, so I got some of these almost ready to accept some new wood that I'll have to custom whittle away and cut it and put it in here and glue it like that section. I think I really nailed it. Up here, I'm not worried so much up here because these little strings are not going to be pulling that hard on here. And then I got the other side, all the big gouges, and we'll just cut some wood. I've got some door skin that I think it's either birch or oak. It's kind of a hard wood, and it's easy to cut and shape and stuff like that, but it's strong. Then we'll just glue these little patches in here and put tape around it to hold it. And once that's dry, I'll make them a little bit higher so that we can sand it down flush. And that's that. Now let's see how the soundboard, the wonderful soundboard, is doing. It's almost all done and glued and done. Look at that. Look, it's my wife's workout weights. So I've got this half all glued together. I'm just gonna let this sit for an entire day, all day tomorrow, before I even attempt to take it apart. Then I got this part here, and I got the warp out of it. So it's not warped anymore. What I did is I sprayed both sides with water, and then I put a real heavy weight on it. Like I think I put this weight on it, and then it started going in the right direction, and then I just took it off and just leave it like that. So it'll have if it has a shape like that, that's okay. It was bowing out too much. And then at the very top, after all the sanding and everything in between these joints, I reduced it. So there's a gap about that much. So I'm gonna have to cut another piece up here and glue it on. It'll be okay. And besides, this whole soundboard is going to have 2 really small, super small wood screws all the way around. It'll be glued, but it will also have wood screws all the way around. All right. Okay, so I've got a couple of them done. This is what they're gonna, not perfect, but they're filling these holes up. Got another one right up there you gotta fill. And I made them higher so that when I plane it, it'll be raw wood here. It won't be contaminated with any glue. And that's the name of it. Look at that one. Oh my God. A little crazy, but so this is the last section from here to here. Clamps aren't long enough to get it down here and here and cinch it up. So what I did is I drilled in a couple screws in this piece of wood here, and then I have these 2 shims that I just tap. This is all weighted down, so hopefully just tapping it like that pushes it. Anyways, that's the tip of the day. Crazy. It's a caveman building a soundboard for a harp. Okay. Part 6, I think. Anyway, so here's the Lyon Healy harp that was destroyed that I'm trying to fix. It's never going to be like new, that's for sure. So what I did is I glued in a little, I dug out all the broken gouge marks from Stanley and glued in some pieces of wood in here, some hardwood. There's about, I don't know, quite a few, maybe about 4 on one side and 5 or 6 on this side here, just like that. And that's glued into a tight bond. 750 pounds of pulling force for every 2 inches. So every 2 inches there's, 750 pounds. So that should stand up. I mean, not easy. And then look at this section right here. If you look at this back section, there's the center spline or reinforcing rib, whatever you call it, that goes into that hole. And then there's another little one right here. It feels kind of rough, like maybe Stanley might have done that. And then I think he did one up here too. I filled this one in. I'm gonna fill this lower one here. You see, these are the holes for his brackets that he put. So he did something, I don't know. Anyways, so remember that. And as far as the soundboard, I've got it all glued together. It's pretty strong. This is redwood, and I just used bender board because I don't want to spend a ton of money on this thing with all the damage that it's done, And this is the part here that's going to go into that slot that I just showed you. I had to do it offset a little bit like this because just the way it happened here. Something about, I can't remember, but the way the strings are centered on this board. I used the old template from Stanley. Man, what a mess I'm making, huh? There you go. There's a will, there's a way, right? So I got these 2 reinforcement strips, and it's just quarter round. It's pretty strong. I had to cut this part off right here because if you look, there's when he cut a hole in the side of the sound box to make a door, I had to put reinforcement wood to attach that thing back on to make it strong, and that wood is right here, so I had to cut that. That's okay, you know. And then, and I still got some more sanding to do. I got all the holes lined up, 40 holes. Little cut out here. There'll be another strip here. Where is it? Something like. Well, maybe it's. Maybe it's one of these. Poplar. So since I have the holes drilled from the back side because of the template I was working with, so this is gonna just go on here like that, and I center it with a mark here, and then there's a mark here, and that's the center line for the strings. The next thing will be I'll take that. I got to sand it out a little bit better, but I did manage to graduate that spline in the back. All right, tapered it. That's what I did. So this was fun. I got this off the old soundboard using a heat gun. Thank God he used contact cement like you're supposed to. That's going to be a fun one. So this is going to go on here like this. This will go on here like that. Glued on. Once that's done, then I turn it over and I'm going to drill from the holes that I put in from the bottom one and go up like that. That way it'll all be in alignment. What else? Then once that's done, then I'm going to clear the whole top of it. I might put a design on it. I don't know, you know. I'd really hate to mess it up. I could do a really neat old... I don't want to break this. Do not want to break that. Come on. Behave. This has got a real neat pattern, real neat flame pattern on it. He probably paid $50 for just this piece of veneer. And it's 1 millimeter thick, like Lyon Healy's. Yeah, so on the back side, what I did is I got this and I marked it. So that's a 1/4 inch, and that's a 1/2 inch, and I'm going with the 1/2 inch, so that it lines up. There's the 1/2 inch, and then and I go up and it starts getting thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner to the end, to where it's at the mark of the 1/4 inch. Belfour on Harp column told me his 36 string, I believe. I think his is wider, I forget, but he said it was 1 inch down here. All my research showed it's supposed to be like a 1/4 inch to an 1/8 inch, but it can vary with the size of the harp, you know. I mean, I was going to put another one of these on top of here, but then it's just because the thing has to bow a little bit, you know. This way, hopefully it'll bow, you know. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. At least it'll be a decorative piece, and it'll be done. So, but it should be okay. And I can trim up all these edges here once it's on there. You know, make marks, take it off, trim it down. Bigger is better. Pretty flat. I did have to put a little bit of putty right in here because there was just a tiny little bit of a low spot. And it's pretty pretty smooth. I mean, you know, for what it is, it's pretty smooth. I don't feel any big bumps or anything like that. I'm surprised. I might sand the top just a little bit more, not much, because this one here, let's see, this one is 1/4 inch, and that's 1/8 of an inch right here. I was talking about before the center spline, so we're talking 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch at the top. And then when I was worried about the holes being in the right location, I think I got it pretty darn close. What I did is I put the board on here, and then I had these strings that I put them in 3 different places. And when I put the board down, imagine the board right there and this going through the hole. I just taped this over the hole and then looked at it from this direction here, because the strings have to clear this neck. And they were all okay. They were all okay. You think that it would be like right in the center of this column, but it's not. It's the hole spacing is just a little bit off like this on the soundboard for it to clear all of this. And when he did that other soundboard, I measured, and he made a template from the original soundboard. Thank you, Stanley. You did one thing, so that it's a little wider on one side and a little narrower on one side, so for that clearance. And these are all graduated in millimeters, wider, then thinner, 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 thinner. And that's about where I'm at right now. The Harp, I need to take a break from it. I work on it every day a little bit. I've got all other kinds of things I got to get done in my life. But yeah, so good old Lyon Healy. It's a beautiful harp, you know. I read that this thing might have 1,400 separate pieces in it. You know, there's all kinds of stuff going through it. It's crazy. Well, we'll see. My son's like, it'll never work. It'll never work. I go, okay, I don't really care. I just want to get it done, make it at least look nice. Put it in the antique room. Maybe put some strings on it. Somebody said maybe the lever harp springs that have less tension. We'll see. I'll test it out with some of that weed whacker string on the big ones and crank it up and see what this thing does. Probably breaks in the middle of the night. But anyways, that's where I'm at. Okay, bye.